The pool, the trespassers, and the truth that made headlines. It started the way all neighborhood dramas seemed yet steady and easy to ignore. Until it wasn't. I've lived in Willowbend Estates for just shy of a decade now. It's the kind of community people dream about when they think of a safe place to raise their kids. Clean parks, well-maintained sidewalks, cul-de-sacs that echo with the sounds of laughter, barbecues, and bikes rolling over asphalt. I worked hard to earn a place here. I moved in with a vision for peace and stability. What I didn't realize was that peace can only last as long as the people around you respect boundaries. My name is Marcus Ellison. I'm the chief of police for Crest Hill County, a position I didn't inherit, but earned with 21 years of service, discipline, and a belief that law should serve people, not power. I'd seen things most civilians couldn't imagine. But nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared me for my neighbor, Lillian Marlowe. To outsiders, Lillian might have passed for a well-meaning suburban mom. Crisp pastel outfits, always with her signature iced latte in hand, and a smile that never quite reached her eyes. People like her often camouflage well in affluent neighborhoods. But once you lived next to them, you learned that no amount of manicured landscaping could cover up entitlement. Especially when that entitlement came packaged with 3 teenage boys and the belief that property lines were more suggestion than law. At first, it was harmless. They'd hop the fence in my backyard pool on hot days. I chalked it up to youthful impulsiveness. The first time, I walked out, towel over my shoulder, expecting a quiet afternoon. Instead, I found them doing cannonballs, stereo blasting, cans of soda floating alongside pool toys that didn't belong to me. They froze when they saw me. I tried a calm approach. "Hey, fellas, I need you to wrap this up. My daughter's napping, and this isn't your pool." They chuckled nervously, apologized, and left. I thought that was that. I was wrong. The following weekend, it happened again. This time they brought friends. They didn't hop the fence, they cut through the lock. That lock was brand new, sturdy. Not the kind you accidentally snap open. My gut told me they had tools. Purpose. Confidence that they wouldn't be stopped. Lillian wasn't just turning a blind eye. She was enabling it. I approached her after the second incident. "Lillian, I'd appreciate it if you spoke to your sons about staying off my property. They've cut through the lock on my side gate." She blinked, as if my words were a foreign language. "Oh, Marcus, don't be so uptight. They're just kids. It's a pool. You act like they're robbing you. I'm asking for basic respect. This is private property. They're trespassing." She sipped her drink, not even pretending to care. "It's summer. Let them be young." That was her excuse for everything. As summer wore on, the parties intensified. Loud music. Cars lined the street. Someone brought a fog machine one weekend. They even had a pizza guy deliver straight into my backyard. I watched from the upstairs window as my wife shook her head in disbelief. My daughter asked why other people were using our pool when we weren't allowed to. I installed cameras, replaced the lock with a steel bar security mechanism. Each time, they found a way around it. Each confrontation with Lillian played out the same: deflection, dismissal, and thinly veiled accusations that I was overreacting. What she didn't know or perhaps didn't believe was that I wasn't just her neighbor. I owned the deed to my land and the small patch of greenbelt beside it. I'd purchased it during a city auction years ago, long before she moved in. That land, along with my property, formed a strip that effectively separated her backyard from direct street access. Still, she treated it like a public park. But what finally broke me wasn't the kids or the noise. It was the feeling of being violated in my own home. One Saturday afternoon in late July, I stepped outside to grill. My daughter was bouncing a ball nearby, my wife laying out towels. We were preparing for a quiet afternoon by the water. Then came the shrieks, laughter, splashing, from the other side of the house. I stormed around to find a full-blown pool party happening without a single invitation. 15 teenagers, music blasting, 2 of Lillian's sons using my pool chairs as launching pads for backflips into the deep end. I didn't yell at first. I just stood there frozen. That silence was enough to halt half the party. Lillian's youngest spotted me first. He tapped his brother. Slowly, the splashing stopped. Conversations died out. Then Lillian appeared. In a swimsuit, hair wrapped in a silk scarf, sunglasses perched on her head like a movie star. "Oh, Marcus," she said with a sigh, "please don't start again." "This is my property," I said, voice sharp and controlled. "You cut my lock again." "They're just swimming," she snapped. "God forbid teenagers enjoy summer. They're trespassing. For the 5th time. You've been warned. This is criminal now." She rolled her eyes. "You're using your badge to bully teenagers." That was the moment something snapped inside me. I wasn't angry. I was done. This has nothing to do with my badge. It has everything to do with you ignoring boundaries. But since you don't seem to care, I'm going to handle this like I would any other call. I pulled out my phone. "No," she barked, stepping forward. "You wouldn't dare call the police. Not over a pool. Watch me." I dialed the precinct. "Dispatch, this is Chief Ellison. I've got a trespassing issue. Minors involved. Send 2 units to my address." Even through her oversized sunglasses, I saw panic flash across her face. "You're seriously doing this?" "Yes, and I should have done it weeks ago." Her sons shifted, guilt dawning on their expressions. The music still played, a ridiculous background to the unraveling chaos. "You all need to leave. Now," I said, turning to the teens. "This is private land. This is your one and only warning." Some of them bolted immediately, towels over shoulders, soaked sneakers slapping against the concrete. A few stayed, hesitant. Then came the sound of sirens. 2 patrol cars pulled up, lights flashing. My officers stepped out, stone-faced. "Chief," Officer Madison greeted me. "What's the situation?" "Unauthorized entry. Destruction of private property gate locks been cut again." Madison nodded, surveying the scene. "Ma'am," he addressed Lillian, "do you have permission to be here?" She crossed her arms. "This is ridiculous. He's blowing this out of proportion. Did you cut through a locked gate to access a property you don't own?" Silence. "He doesn't even use the pool that often," she muttered weakly. "That's irrelevant," Officer Madison replied. "The law doesn't make exceptions for frequency of use. This is clear trespassing." Her sons looked at the officers, then at her. The bravado drained from their faces. "You're harassing my family," she screamed. "This is an abuse of power." "No, this is me exercising my right to protect my home," I said, leveling my gaze at her. "And teaching your boys something you apparently never have respect." More sirens. A 3rd car arrived. Body cameras clicked on. "You want this public?" I asked. "Because I'll go to court with video footage, audio logs, and the documentation from every warning I've issued." It was the tipping point. One by one, the kids left. The backyard cleared out like fog in morning sun. Lillian's sons trailed behind her, heads low. The officers took statements. I showed them the damaged lock, the footage from last week. Madison nodded, jotting it all down. "You want to press charges?" he asked. I looked across the yard at my wife and my daughter, now quietly sitting near the stairs. Then I looked back at Lillian, her lip trembling from anger or shame. I couldn't tell which. "No," I said. "Not today. But let this serve as an official record. The next time anyone steps foot into my yard uninvited, I will pursue every legal option available." Lillian said nothing, just turned on her heel and walked away. "You'll regret this," she said over her shoulder. "No," I called after her. "You will." 2 days later, it made the front page of our local paper. Police chief cites neighbor for trespassing in pool dispute. The article went viral. People weighed in from all over the country. Some applauded the stand. Others criticized the optics. But one thing was clear: this wasn't just about a pool. It was about boundaries, respect, and the dangerous assumption that rules don't apply if you're loud enough to ignore them. In the weeks that followed, something strange happened. The neighborhood grew quieter. People were more courteous. I noticed fewer side-eye stares, more waves. Some neighbors even approached me with quiet thanks. Apparently, Lillian had been crossing other lines too, cutting across lawns, critiquing gardens, organizing HOA meetings without notice. She'd become a symbol of boundary pushing, and her downfall a reminder that no one is above the law, even in suburbia. As for me, I got a new lock, a better one, reinforced steel, titanium core. But I also got something else. My backyard back. And the quiet, sacred right to sit poolside with my family, drink in hand, knowing that respect had been restored not with fists or fury, but with resolve. Because in Willow Bend Estates, we now understood what it meant when someone said, "This is my home." And that's a line no one dares to cross again.